Today, we focus on the life of a woman who was forced to carry one of the most unfortunate nicknames in history, yet whose story shows us the strength of the human spirit and the true meaning of sacrifice. Her name was Mary Ann. In the early 1900s, she was known as the ugliest woman in the world. This cruel title was given to her because of a physical condition that was not her choice. If you are ready, let us learn the life of this selfless woman. Mary Ann was born on December 20th, 1874, in the Plaistow district of London as the child of a working-class family. Her life was like that of most young women in late 19th century England. She was beautiful, healthy, and full of dreams. In her youth, she worked as a nurse. This career choice was the first sign of her naturally compassionate and helpful personality. In 1903, she married a florist named Thomas Bevan, who loved her deeply. They had a happy marriage, and soon their family began to grow. They had 4 healthy children. Their lives were difficult, but they lived an ordinary and respectable life full of love and hope. Mary Ann was a mother trying to give her children a good future. However, she was beginning to struggle with an illness that would change her life forever. By her mid-20s, she began to experience disturbing physical changes. She suffered from headaches, vision problems, joint pain, and muscle pain. But the most noticeable changes were the slow enlargement of her facial features and limbs. Her hands, feet, forehead, jaw, and nose began to grow disproportionately. This condition was not only a cosmetic concern, but also a source of unbearable physical pain. Mary Ann's symptoms were the result of a rare hormonal disorder known as acromegaly. In the early 1900s, very little was known about this illness. There was no treatment, and it was often misdiagnosed. Mary Ann and her family had to fight an illness they did not understand and could not control. This physical transformation affected her life severely. At that time, physical differences were often seen with fear, superstition, and mockery. It became difficult for Mary Ann to continue her nursing career. People's stares and whispers became unbearable, and during this difficult period, an even deeper tragedy struck. In 1914, Mary Ann suffered a heartbreaking loss when her husband Thomas suddenly passed away. The death of her husband left Mary Ann alone with 4 young children. The progression of acromegaly had physically weakened her and made it impossible for her to work in a normal job. She no longer had any income to support her family. For a working-class widow in 1910s England, the options were very limited. She would either try to live in poverty or be forced to give her children to an orphanage. Mary Ann was a proud woman, and above all, she was determined to keep her children together. It was this desperation and incredible power of maternal love that pushed her to make the most difficult decision of her life. At that time, there was only one source of income for people with physical differences: the world of shows. Instead of being exploited, Mary Ann decided to use her appearance willingly as a tool for her family's survival. In 1914, she applied for a contest announced in a local newspaper called the Ugliest Woman in the World contest. This was a mother's decision to sacrifice her own dignity to take care of her children. She won the contest. The money she received was small, but it meant salvation for her family. After this, she became part of the show world. Soon, she began working for circuses and shows in Europe. She had to live under constant travel, endless stares, and cruel comments from people. Every performance was a humiliation for her, but every applause meant food for her children and warmth for their home. Mary Ann's fame soon spread beyond England. In 1920, she received the most important offer of her life. She was invited to join the famous Coney Island Dreamland Circus in New York. This was not only a chance to earn more money, but also an opportunity to give her family a better future. When she arrived in America, she became one of the most important names in the circus world. The performances were built around her condition. Audiences were encouraged to mock her unusual features, her large hands, and her bulky appearance. Posters called her the most hideous woman on earth or the ugly lady. Marian had to play this role. On stage, she was expected to represent the opposite of feminine beauty standards. Every performance was emotionally exhausting, but Marian never complained. While her children grew up in England without knowing what their mother was doing, she was thousands of kilometers away, carrying the heaviest burden for them. After one show, Marian was asked why she chose this life. Her answers summed up her character. "Every person who watches me and laughs should know this. Every one of their laughs means a warm meal and a safe home for my children. I chose the honor of motherhood over the shame of show business." Marian turned the humiliation of the world into a shield for her children. She spent the next 16 years working in shows. During this time, she managed to secure the education and future of her 4 children. In 1933, she passed away at the age of 59 during a show tour in Coney Island. She was so well known that her death made headlines. At the request of her children, her body was returned to England to be buried next to her husband. For years, Marian Bevan's photographs were used on postcards and in medical books, and sadly as a subject of mockery. The world labeled her as ugly, but her actions made her one of the most beautiful-hearted mothers in history. Marian Bevan was a symbol of unconditional love and courage shining in the darkness of circus tents. If you enjoyed our video, please like it and subscribe to our channel for more stories and historical content.